Sleep plays a pivotal role in our mental and physical health. And before you look at any other aspect to improve your physical and mental health, get your sleep in check. Sleep is one of the most underrated aspects of our health ever. These days, people cannot sleep anymore. Sleeping trouble has become a pandemic. Everywhere I look, everyone I ask, people have trouble falling asleep and staying asleep. And some people are not even aware of that. Some people think that this is their normal state. Like they go to bed, have trouble falling asleep for an hour or two, then go to sleep or then fall asleep, and then stay asleep for 3 hours just to wake up. And then have, I don't know, heartbeat or something, high heartbeat, and then having trouble falling back asleep again. Or they wake up early in the morning and cannot fall back asleep. And this is really bad because if you're not able to sleep, everyone knows how you feel when you haven't slept well. You feel cranky. You don't feel so well. And after a while, you're not even aware anymore of your sleeping problems. This has just become your normal. And over the years, people just adapt to this situation, but then they don't ask themselves, oh, why am I not functioning properly? Why am I not feeling so well? Well, duh, you're not sleeping well. But then when people are aware of their sleeping problems, what do? They go to the doctor and they might have some natural medicine prescribed. They start with that, quickly realizing that this is not really helping. So then they might move over to some stronger sleep medication instead of sleep meditation. And this is what the doctors prescribe us, medication instead of meditation. And of course, sleeping on sleep medication in the beginning is great. You just get a relief of sleep. Finally, you can sleep again. But in the long run, this is not the solution because first of all, sleep medication create dependencies. That means after a while, you will not be able to fall asleep without them anymore. And on the second part, the sleep on sleep medication is not as restorative as actual sleep. Because with sleep medication, you most of the time really don't go as deep into the deep sleep cycles, into the REM sleep cycles, the rapid eye movement cycles. And so even though it might appear that you sleep better and that you have slept for 8 hours, the quality of your sleep is not the same as if you would have slept for 6 hours in a very natural, normal, healthy state. But luckily, there are a lot of other things that we can do to improve our sleep. These range from getting a better mattress, getting a proper pillow, getting blackout curtains so your bedroom is really dark. But these are things that all cost money and that you cannot do right now. But now I want to explain 4 things that you can do right now to improve your sleep. And the word here is sleep hygiene. So what's sleep hygiene? The first part of sleep hygiene is your dinner. Your sleep hygiene starts with dinner, and this is actually when your dinner is. Because we should time our dinner at least 2, better 3 hours before we go to sleep. Because if you have food in your stomach or if you eat right before bed, then all your blood and your energy goes into your digestive tract. So that means you don't have enough blood and energy for your brain that it needs to achieve proper deep sleep. So you just don't rest so well when you have a full stomach. So this is really important. This also means that if you have dinner at 8 and if you go to bed at 11, then you shouldn't have a snack in between anymore. You really need this digestive break before you go to sleep. The second important rule for sleep hygiene is blue light. We need to avoid blue light before going to bed, because blue light is a Zeitgeber. It tells our body that we should not go to sleep. In the absence of blue light, our body produces a hormone that is called melatonin, which is the sleep hormone. But if we have a lot of blue light exposure in the late evenings, or maybe even in the early evenings, according to some research, our body does not produce adequate amounts of melatonin. So the result is not here that we should take external melatonin, because as I already mentioned, taking this melatonin from the outside will create a dependency, and after a while your body doesn't produce as much melatonin as it used to, so you need this medication in order to fall asleep. But what can we do? First step, and the mildest step, is to turn on the blue light filters on your phones, on your laptops, and on your TV if that's possible. Second can be, you can get one of those blue light glasses. They look kind of weird, but they help because they block out all the blue light. But what you can also do is to just avoid screens. You can, for example, 2 hours or 1 hour before you go to bed, you can just avoid all screens. So you don't look at your phone anymore, you don't watch TV, you don't look at the computer, and you turn all the screens off, and you turn also the lights off in your room, and focus maybe on candles, maybe some lamps that have like a very warm light, not this neon light, the LEDs. They have a lot of blue light in there. So by reducing this light exposure, we will naturally feel a lot more tired in the evening. Just try that. Sit for an hour before you go into bed, just by candlelight, reading a book. You will naturally feel that you get a lot more tired than if you would watch a series that has a lot of maybe even action happening and a lot of blue light. Also, avoiding screens before going to bed gives your mind actually the time to relax and to unwind and not to get any more impressions from the outside. To actually maybe reflect on what happened during the day, to be able to really wind down and not be still bombarded with external things that keep you from really going into this relaxed state that we need in order to become tired and to want to go to sleep. Number 3, and I know you're all gonna hate me for this one, it's coffee. It's caffeine. Caffeine and me have a long love and hate relationship. I love my cup of java in the morning, but it just doesn't allow me to sleep properly at night. And maybe you experience this for yourself. For me, not even green tea works, because caffeine, especially in coffee, has a half-life from somewhere between, depending on the person, 3 to 14 hours, so depending on how you metabolize coffee and how sensitive you are to coffee. Even if you drink a cup of coffee in the morning, this 90 to 120 milligrams of caffeine stay in your blood, or half of it stays in your blood, even in the evening when you want to go to sleep. And what does caffeine do? It prevents you from sleeping. It prevents you from feeling tired, actually. And it makes the body release a lot of stress hormones, predominantly cortisol and adrenaline or noradrenaline. And these hormones are there to get you going and pumped and doing things and just really focus on tasks. And this doesn't really help you when you want to go to sleep. And unfortunately, coffee and caffeine these days is such a over-marketed drug, because in the end, if we think about it, it's a drug. It stimulates your nervous system, it alters your perception, it alters your chemistry in your body. And this is what a drug does. Just unfortunately that most of society these days have become addicted to coffee and to caffeine. I mean, everywhere you go, you can grab coffee. I mean, even if you go to the bank these days, they have coffee machines. You go to a supermarket, they have sometimes free coffee there. So it's literally everywhere. And so many people have made this their routine in the morning, talking about routines again, to drink a cup of coffee in the morning. And I'm not telling you should completely ditch coffee, but just to be aware of that. Be aware that your coffee, that your caffeine intake might have an impact on your sleep. And I'm not talking only about coffee. I mean, green tea contains caffeine, even chocolate contains caffeine. I mean, if we talk about dark chocolate, say 2, 3, or 4 of those squares from a dark chocolate bar have almost the amount of a small coffee, so almost the amount of caffeine as a small coffee. So it's really in a lot of different products, and even in different spice teas or like teas with aroma, they're often based on black tea and on green tea. Coke has caffeine as well. So there's a lot of like drinks and sodas that contain caffeine, and so this accumulates over the day. You drink a coffee in the morning, then you have a green tea in the afternoon, or if you drink soda, like a soda in the afternoon, and your caffeine intake is already a lot higher than would allow you to have a proper restful sleep. So I just want to urge you here to just have a look at your caffeine intake and maybe try to draw a correlation there, if there is one for you. And last but not least, it's meditation. It's the absolute best medication that you can have for a restful sleep. And it doesn't need to be a half an hour deep meditation. Sometimes it can just be enough to sit down or to lie down, to do some conscious breathing, to maybe do some ujjayi breathing. It's a very calming breath. There are other practices such as yoga nidra, which is basically a guided relaxation exercise, and you can do it while lying down. So there are a lot of things, meditative things that you can do in the evening that help you to unwind and to relax. And especially coming back to meditation, this calm, focused breath awareness or mantra awareness really helps you to unwind and disconnect from everything that happened throughout your day and make it kind of like a cut of this is where your day ends and this is where your sleep hygiene and where your sleeping routine kind of starts. And just as you can have a morning routine, you can also have an evening routine revolving around your sleep hygiene. So there are a lot of things that you can do, and just having a routine. I mean, if you think about children sleep best when they have a routine, and they need a routine. And just because we're not children anymore, it doesn't mean that this doesn't work for us. So having a proper sleep routine revolving about your sleep hygiene can help you tremendously to get a better night's sleep. And please don't forget, having a good night's sleep makes you feel so much better, so much healthier, and so much happier, and you will perform so much better in every aspect of your life. So get your sleep in check.